Okay, hey guys, let me just share my screen here. Okay, so today I'm going to go over the third project in a 4-part series of designs that we did for a client, TGI Power. Now, the goal of these videos is to help others get a glimpse into what the design process can look like and how you can create similar deliverables. Now, we previously talked about the presentation that we used to pitch our client and the banners that we did for their press conference. We showed you the process and some great tools you can use in your own work. So if you're interested in that, we will be dropping the link below for you. Like our last 2 projects for them, this design proposal needed to have a pretty quick turnaround. So these were just drafts we did to gauge whether or not we were on the right track. This presentation was intended to be a quick representation of the direction we'd like to move the branding in. So the logos and designs you see here are not polished vectors, but rather sketches that capture the feeling. So now we're going to pull up the first draft of our branding proposal that we gave to them. And like we said, this was to suggest the direction we wanted to take the aesthetics. So as you can see on this first page here, this was the first sketch of a logo that we proposed. And we wanted to go with an emblem design because they have longevity and they can be updated while remaining recognizable. So you can make simple stylistic changes while still using the same symbology. We will go into the research process and symbols used in this, but for now we're going to continue on. There we go. Then another just page with our design services, our contact information and all of that. So on this page, we went into detail about who we are as a company and the values that we uphold. We wanted to show them that they made a good choice and to talk a little bit more about the different people who would be assisting the project. So this was just a quick introduction to that and our network and everything here. On this page here, we visually laid out the timeline and what each stage will entail. So we also reiterated one of our core values, which we call the 3 C's, not as clarity, consistency, and cohesion. We wanted to be clear that during this project, these things are going to be important. So if we decide, say, on a brand color palette, we want to make sure our customers are always using those specific color codes and best practices, because when you don't stick with that, it'll never have the wow factor that they're paying us for. So they need to understand why these things are going to be beneficial to them. And at the bottom down here, we broke down what each stage would cost. And this looks pretty general on this page, but we did previously list all of the deliverables that they would be getting. And they also received billing invoices from our last projects that broke down time and cost and helped them understand why we charge what we charge. So here's where it starts to get fun because we get to share our research. So for any design project we do, everything is research-based, and we did show them a presentation with a lot of technical research that we did, but this was a fun folklore story that we found and we wanted to represent. And we often like to take things back to history to inspire us. So this story recounts a Mexican myth about the Sempesuchil Flower. Because the resort is being built in this country, we wanted to bring in the local folklore. This story tells us about 2 young lovers separated by war until the sun god brings them back together in the form of a hummingbird and a Sempesuchil flower. It says that as long as both the flower and the bird live on this earth, their love will never be forgotten. So we wanted to take this and make it a memory for the different resort visitors. So the hummingbird and the flower became symbols that were woven throughout our design process and into these drafts. The guests will be given a brass room key that exists in 2 parts. As you can see down here, we wrote about it. One part is etched with the flower, and that end actually operates the room door. And the top part is a detachable piece in the shape of a hummingbird that guests take with them as a souvenir. The top part is easily replaceable, so it's replaced with a new piece for the next guest and can be made into a keychain or whatever they want before they leave. So this keeps the folklore going, and it makes sure our guests are always going to remember their time here, us as the flower and them as the hummingbird. So on this page, we mocked up a quick draft of what the key card could look like. Obviously, the logistics and technical aspects are not listed yet because we want to see if they're interested in this direction before we spend a lot of time on it. And this was just a little sample of like the kind of deliverables we would do and the style we would do them in. So we're not going to get hyper specific. We're not going to go into all of the things we're going to design here, but just provide a little bit to give them understanding of the way we operate and to see, to communicate with them what they want as well. So here we show a proposed color palette. And when choosing these, I want to make sure they have colors that are really contrasting because you have to think about how they'll interact on a page. For pages with a lot of text, you're going to want to have a light background and dark letters or vice versa. So we also want to have a color that is pretty close to neutral, and we want to make sure that the colors will grow with the brand rather than just being trendy. So for my color pairings, I typically use coolers.co, and we'll drop that below. It's an AI-based service that creates palettes that pair in the best way possible. So we'll link that for you guys to use in your own designs as well. So again, here we provide them with two different options so we can get a sense of what they prefer. You don't want to overwhelm them with ideas, so trust your judgment and pick only a handful that you think are the best. So down here, this shows how the second color palette option that we gave them on this page could interact with other colors and photos, just like we did for the previous one. Okay, so here we did a quick mood board of other designs curated in a way that gets across the aesthetics that we would like to pursue. So creating a mood board like this is to give clients a sense and understanding of styles, imagery, tones, and emotions that we want to convey with any deliverable that we make. So in this case, we're going for understated luxury that is unpretentious and rooted in the local environment. And here are just ideas that we've collected from all over the internet, art styles, textures, everything. So we also discussed having stores and art available for purchase on site. So we wanted to give them an idea of first, the decor that we could put in rooms, and second, art styles that would be great to look into more. Finally, we finished with a list of all the deliverables that we could create for them that you'll need for a hotel. We looked at our own hotels and went through and thought of every little thing that we're going to have to design so they understand the extensiveness of the project, and we just can get on the same page. So this was the first draft we pulled together to communicate. The next steps in our design process is going to be to review with them their likes and dislikes and then refine the style more. So if they want to go in a different direction, we start the process over again. Now that this is finished, we will create the first draft of finalized designs. This means we'll have a stunning digitally drawn vectorized logo, a larger and hyper-specific mood board, a page of imagery and photography examples, a set of icons for marketing use, a page of fonts, a color palette, and then best practices for the brand. This is called the brand guidelines. After all that is proved, we get into making social media templates, marketing materials, taking photography, and actually producing the deliverables. So if you like this and you want to learn more about business and design, click the subscribe button and be sure to check out all the other videos on our channel. Thank you guys for listening and see you next time.